afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Daniel Berlant from the CAL FIRE Information Center with the fire situation report for Monday, August 8th, 2016. Now, last week's cooler temperatures were quite a relief after triple-digit temperatures at the end of July, but we still saw significant fire activity across California. In fact, last week alone, firefighters responded to over 320 new wildfires. Now, to date, there have been over nearly 4,400 wildfires that have burnt over 270,000 acres. So we've seen significant fire activity and some very large and destructive fires. Many of those we will talk about here in just a bit. In fact, let's go ahead and switch over to our statewide interactive Google map where you can see here are the major fires burning right now in California. Many of these, though, are very close to containment. In fact, on several of them, actually, we've had evacuations that have been lifted as progress has been made. But the first fire will start here in Northern California in Yolo County. This is the cold fire. It's been burning near Lake Berryessa, just west of Winters itself. In fact, this fire now holding at 5,731 acres. It is 70% contained. Just to give you an idea, here is Lake Berryessa, here is Winters. Now, Highway 128 was closed, but over the weekend, with the progress that's been made, that highway has been reopened. Here's some video to show you of the fire. Now, we've had a lot of fire activity last year in the Lake Berryessa area, but with the dry conditions, again, you can see just how quickly this fire was able to grow. But again, to reiterate, 5,731 acres, 70% contained in Yolo County. That is the good news there. We'll zoom out to the next fire. This has been the largest one, really, that's been burning now for several weeks. This is the Sobrantes fire down in the Big Sur area of Monterey County. This fire has grown now to 60,400 acres. It is 45% contained. Here you can see it on the map. Where relatively it is. Here is Monterey, Carmel right here, Carmel Valley, Big Sur to the south here. All of this burning just to the east of Highway 1. Now, the highway, for the most part, has been reopened, but it's very important that if you are driving along Highway 1, that you take extra precaution. Now, many of the state parks along this area and this stretch of Highway 1 are closed. So be very aware there are some closures. Make sure you check before you go in those areas. But regardless, stay out of the path of firefighters that are working in the area. Now, switch over to some video of this fire itself. This has been a very fast-moving fire. In fact, over, as I mentioned, 60,400 acres have burned. This morning, there were over 500 homes that were evacuated by this fast-moving fire. Now, the good news is, earlier this morning, residents in the Palo, Colorado area were allowed to return home. So again, evacuations have been lifted for the Palo, Colorado area. Now, that area is only open to residents with valid ID. But that is some good news showing the progress that has been made by firefighters on this fire. 45% contained. Now, this fire has been in unified command with the U.S. Forest Service as it is burning on the Los Padres National Forest. Now, as I mentioned, this was a very destructive fire. In fact, damage assessment teams continue to assess, but so far, 57 homes were destroyed by this fire, 11 outbuildings destroyed. 3 homes were damaged, and 2 others were damaged. Excuse me, 3 were destroyed, 2 outbuildings were damaged as well. I got that completely wrong. We'll do that again. There were 3 homes that were damaged, 2 outbuildings damaged. So a total of 5 buildings damaged, and then 57 homes that were destroyed, 11 outbuildings destroyed. But crews are making very good progress, again, allowing many of the hundreds of other homes that were in that area, getting those residents back into their homes. So if you do want to see a perimeter of this fire, you can always go to our statewide interactive Google map on our website, fire.ca.gov. That's where you can find this fire. Another very fast-moving fire that started over the weekend down in San Bernardino County. This is the Pilot Fire. It started near Pilot Rock off Highway 138, just near Silverwood Lake itself. This is north of San Bernardino. If we scroll up, here's San Bernardino, Highland area. Here's Highway 138 going up into the mountains. This is in the San Bernardino National Mountain. Now, CAL FIRE is in unified command with the U.S. Forest Service as well as the San Bernardino County San Bernardino County Fire Department as well. Now, this fire has burned 4,500 acres. It is 5% contained, but you can see from some of this video just how large the flame lengths of this fire are, and 4,500 acres burning in less than 12 hours just shows that even with some cooler temperatures last week, conditions are still very, very dry. Now, a couple other fires that are nearing containment that I want to go over here today. We'll go back up to Northern California, over up into El Dorado County. That's where the U.S. Forest Service has been battling the alder fire. Now, the CAL FIRE has been assisting the U.S. Forest Service with this fire off Highway 50. This is near Kybers itself, and is zoom in a little bit more. Here is Highway 50. This is just south of it. Pollock Pines, Placerville over here to the west. The alder fire is holding now 25 acres. It is 60% contained. This is on the El Dorado National Forest. Again, CAL FIRE assisting, 25 acres, 60% contained. Another fire I want to talk about is over in Fresno County, where crews have made some very good progress. This is on the Goose fire that's south of Prather in Fresno County. 2,241 acres have burned. The fire, though, is 96% contained, so very good progress being made on this fire. Here you can see the perimeter. Just to give you an idea, here is Highway 168, Auberry to the north. Here is Prather just outside. Fresno, Clovis would be down here to the south. But the fire really burned very rapidly, very close to an area of high tree mortality. Firefighters did a very good job of keeping this fire away from those tree mortality areas, because we know when fires get into those areas, it's much more difficult to fight, which we've seen several fires down in the Madera County area that have burned in where the significant tree mortality has occurred. But again, the Goose fire, now 96% contained, still holding at 2,241 acres. So a couple other fires I want to highlight. These are over in Mono County. These are on the Inyo National Forest. Just to give you some perspective, here is Mono Lake itself, Mammoth, the ski resort right over here. These two fires, we'll start with the first one. This is the Clark fire up here. It is burning just south of Bald Mountain. Now, 2,819 acres have burned. It is 60% contained. Again, this is being fought by the U.S. Forest Service with support from CAL FIRE and other local fire agencies. The other fire just to the south of it, this is the Rock Creek fire. It is burning southeast of Mammoth Lakes. 122 acres have burned. It is 86% contained. Now, there were some evacuations. Swall Meadows itself was threatened at one point, but that threat has ended. So the Forest Service continuing to work on containment on these two fires in Mono County. So again, to recap, 7 fires in total, the biggest one being the Sobranes fire. Good progress being made there as evacuations have lifted. The Pilot fire will continue to monitor. Again, this is continuing to be a very fast-moving fire. Make sure you continue to follow us, as well as the San Bernardino National Forest and the San Bernardino County Fire, for updates on that fire. Now, let's talk a little bit about the weather conditions. As I mentioned, triple-digit temperatures in July. Last week, we saw a nice cool down. Now, temperatures are slowly going back up, but they're going to be relatively normal for this time of year. You can see from this map from our friends at the Weather Service, not extreme temperatures. We've got some triple digits along some of the desert areas, which is fairly normal this time of year. 94 in Redding, 97 in Fresno, 81 in San Diego. So not a significantly warm beginning here to our August, but still a hot one. But it's humidity that's going to continue to be low. We're going to see humidity in the teens. That means a spark will easily ignite with when fires are, or when the humidity is in the teens. 17% humidity in Redding. Fresno is at 11%. So if you do live in any of these areas, you are going to have that lower humidity despite more average temperatures. That fire risk will still continue to be up. Plus, we're still going to see some winds. Here, everywhere in green, you can see 20 to 30 mile an hour winds. Some areas especially up in San Bernardino and Mono counties, we could see winds up to 30 miles an hour in some areas, even up to 40 miles in some of those passes. So that wind is definitely going to be a concern for this week in those areas. So it shouldn't be hard to know that we are here in the middle of the summer, and you definitely have to take precaution with these type of weather conditions. Now, we talk a lot about making sure you're ready for wildfire. With the Sobranes fire, with the Pilot fire, with many of the other fires, large numbers of evacuations. The fire down in Santa Clarita last week, you've got to make sure that you're ready. But you've got to also ensure that you're ready for your animals, your four-legged friends as well. Now, Lynn Tomatroff of our office filed this report talking a little bit about what you can do for your animals.
When it comes to animal evacuations, whether it's a cat, dog, or a beautiful large horse like Cash here, you want to make sure you're prepared. This begins at home by making sure you have plenty of defensible space around your pastures. You also want to make sure you have a go kit ready. This kit should also include vaccination records, medications, and a couple of days worth of food for your animals. And you also want to make sure that before you leave your home, where you're going to be taking the animals. In most counties, the evacuation center for large animals like cashier is going to be at the local fairgrounds. So make sure you know exactly where that location is. But lastly, all of our four-legged animals are family members, but remember, evacuate them only if it's safe to do so.
So that was Lynn Tomachoff with some good information about being prepared to have your animals evacuate in a fire as well. You can get some good information, not only how to prepare to evacuate for yourself, but also for your animals at our website, readyforwildfire.org. Now that's the latest on the fire situation here in California. I'm Daniel Berlantz. Have a fire-safe week.